the book club, okay, with Diane Keaton, and is a few other stars that's in this movie, okay. Um, but I wanted to come on here, and when I say stars, honey, I'm a star. Okay, okay. I just recognize the stars. Okay, all right. I wanted to come on here real quick because I had got this download. As I was laying in the bed. Right now I am doing absolutely positively nothing, and it feels so good. Okay, sometimes you don't apologize for when you're not doing anything. Okay. You did not come here to slave. Okay. You did not come here to work so hard. Okay. You did not come here to just work and pay bills. You came here to do the thing that you was created to do, to be of service, whatever that looks like, whether that is teaching, whether that is making music, whatever that may look like, that's what you came here for. Okay. And don't allow people to try to make you feel guilty because you not killing yourself. Okay. Don't allow people to try to make you feel guilty because you're not out there slaving and killing yourself. Okay. You have to always do what works for you. But I wanted to come on here because as I was laying down in the bed, this idea came to me. Just because you are a people pleaser, that is not going to exempt you from the suffering. What do you mean by that, Dina? See, sometimes we bend over backwards for people. Hey, Tracy, peace to you, baby, peace to you, peace to you. Sometimes we tend to bend over backwards because we have been programmed to do so. We have been taught that, you know, well, that's your family, or, you know, society says they're your friends, and put your feelings to the side. Make sure you always there for everybody else, even as a parent. Okay, those your children, and you know they come first before you. And sometimes you tend to accept the unacceptable because it's like you want to keep this persona up. Oh, I'm a nice person. Okay. Nice is derived from Latin and it actually means foolish. Okay. And so when you feel like you have to keep this persona up, that I am a nice person, I'm always doing good, being a people pleaser will not exempt you from suffering. Okay. Because when you are people pleasing and you doing it so people could like you doing it so people they won't talk about you doing it so you may have some friends. You doing it in the sense of you are operating so much so from fear. Okay. When you start holding on to those boundaries and implementing those boundaries, okay, the universe is going to respect you more. Let me say it again. When you get rid of the act, okay, ACT, when you get rid of that act of, well, I gotta be a people pleaser. I just gotta be so nice. I gotta be so kind. And I'm not saying there's nothing wrong with being kind or whatever, but when you doing it and it's going against your goddamn self, then that's a problem. That is a problem. I was laying down here and I was thinking about consumer law. And it was so many ideas that was going on in my mind. And one of the things that I said, I was like, well, you know, I'm a kind person. Things will happen another way. right? It'll happen another way. Perhaps I don't have to do it, right? And instantly, what came to my mind was this: being a people pleaser because you are afraid, it will not exempt you from suffering. That's what came to my mind instantly. So, to the ones that's out there, that's like, whatever situation you may be going through and growing through, never drop everything just because you feel like you want to be a people pleaser, or you don't want to piss people off. When you're doing what works for you, you're not in control of what other people or how they going to react or respond to it. That ain't got nothing to do with you. That has absolutely nothing to do with you. You do what works for you, okay? And when you start operating from faith and taking a leap out on faith and doing what your heart is calling you to do, doing what the synchronicities of the universe is telling you to do, and you operate from that, okay, you will be going against the grain. You will be outcast, okay? You will feel like you are by yourself at times. But that is okay. That is okay. Because the ones that you start standing up towards, the universe will send people that will respect your boundaries. People that's are on the same exact frequency as you. And that's what you have to understand. I know a lot of times when we stepping into the unknown and we don't know what to expect, because perhaps this is like the first time that we are standing up for ourselves, right? Perhaps this is the first time that we are speaking up. Perhaps this is the first time that we are doing things that is different than what we used to, the way we used to do things. And I always say this: if you want your life to change, you have to change. Is no way your life is going to change if you stay the same. You have to do something drastic. You have to do something where as though people don't understand it, they don't get you, and it's okay because they don't have to get you. Okay. The ones that get it, they get it. I remember a few years ago, I used to make this plea. And at that time, it would be with God in the sky. Okay. I didn't know anything about the universe, synchronicities, and affirmation. I didn't know none of this. Okay. And I would sort of make a bargain with God. Okay. Like, but I'm doing so good. I'm treating these people so kind. And I would be so stressed out, crying, 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 not understanding why my life was going the way it was going. And that's why I say what I say. You being a people pleaser is not going to exempt you from pain that you constantly keep going through. What is it that you can do different that you normally wouldn't do? That you never done before? That's what you need to do. For instance, if somebody every time they come around, they talk they just talk to you any old type of way. And perhaps you never say anything. You quiet because you're afraid. You're afraid to stand up for yourself. And remember, when people are saying stuff and we constantly being around it, it goes into the subconscious mind. And the subconscious, it does not know fantasy from reality. And so while you allowing somebody to push you over, because you have to permit that. Nobody can do anything without your permission. And so when you allowed a person to just speak to you any old type of way, just to put you down and talk to you like you trash, or and it starts off how you perceive yourself to be. But you're gonna start waking up. You're gonna start waking up. And so perhaps you never said anything. You just take it and take it and take it. Because a part of you feel like you deserve it, but it's like your higher self or your spirit is constantly said, like you feel this emotion like, I don't deserve this, but you keep tolerating it. And so perhaps maybe before you never would say anything. You just would sit around and just take it. But now you're gonna say, listen, you will not talk to me this way. And make it be a prize. Don't just say you will not talk to me this way and then just allow them to keep talking to you this. No, you will not talk to me this way. And when you talk to me this way, that's it. I'm done with you. I'm cutting you off. I'm blocking you. You will not have access to me. You will not be around me, because a person that talks to me any old type of way, honey, they don't need to have access to me. And that's what you got to do. That's what you have to do, because the universe is not going to feel sorry, or source, whatever it is you believe in, is not going to feel sorry for you because you feel as though that you can't do no better. That's not how this works. That's not how this works. Yeah, you do get the stuff that you put out, right? Like you're a calm person, you will get that back. But when you feel like you got to be a people pleaser for people to, um, because you're afraid, or because you feel like, well, if I just keep on being nice to them, then I'm a keep on receiving good because I keep on being nice to them, although they treat you like shit. But you keep saying you're gonna be nice to them. That makes no sense. That makes no sense. No sense. And I get it. I get it because I was there before. I get it. I understand it. It's because of fear. It's because you perhaps don't want people in your family to talk about you. It's because people may put you on a guilt trip, say you ain't gonna have no good luck. Is because they say, well, respect, in the Bible it says respect our mother and our father. It also has something else in that Bible too, that says something about that you should not, um in other words, push the child or instigate. Okay, so it's funny how sometimes people use one part of the Bible, and I don't know the Bible word for word, okay? But what I come to realize, sometimes people use things in their favor, but when it's something that they're not following or they're not listening to, like they could quote all this part that is, I guess, in their favor. But when it's something that's not in their favor, it's like that part they forget or they leave that part out. Stop feeling like you have to be a people pleaser. The ones that leave out of your life because you standing up for yourself, and also understand this and get this. Sometimes when you are speaking up for yourself, right? Is like say for instance, right? I'm speaking up for myself, okay? And I'm taking up for myself. A lot of times I also said that we oftentimes want people to take up for us and we don't even take up for ourselves. How is that going to work? You have to be able to take up for yourself. And then the people who come into your life, okay, you will meet people that will take up for you, but it's not even you're not even doing it for that. You're doing it because I deserve better. I know I'm worthy. I know my worth. Okay. I know I'm deserving. Okay. And that's why you're doing it. Because you know you deserve it. You don't even talk to yourself like that. And you be damned if you gonna allow somebody else to talk to you any old type of way. And so when you start speaking up for yourself, okay, the ones who was benefiting from you not speaking up, from you not having a voice, they're not going to like that. They're not going to like you now, you speaking up and all this other stuff. I'm gonna share this story with you guys. Okay, I remember my oldest son, right? And it's a lot of times we tend to do what we seen growing up. And my oldest son, he never would say anything. Like if I'm saying stuff to him, he'll never say anything. And some people may say, "Oh, that's good because he don't talk back." But one of the things that I started realizing, like after me doing the work on myself, was that that's not necessarily good because that means that he's just holding everything in. Okay. And I remember one day he started speaking up, right? Started like telling me like how he felt, not, nasty or anything. He just was like telling me. And sometimes people would try to say, because you are telling them, they'd try to say, oh, well, it's disrespect. Because you standing up for yourself. It became disrespectful because you started standing up for yourself. It's not how you said it. They don't care. It's just the whole idea of you standing up for yourself that is eating them away. Okay. And so my oldest son, he started telling me, and I was like, I was shocked because I was like, this kid he never say anything. So I started thinking like maybe his girlfriend put him up to, saying like, oh well, you need to stand up for yourself. I don't know, right? But I was shocked. But at the same time, one of the things that I realized was he needs to have a voice. Because if he can't speak up for himself, that turns into something else. Okay. Like even with my oldest daughter. Now I am not the perfect mom. Okay. Now I am not even gonna be on here saying it. Okay. Or pretending or whatever. Okay. My oldest daughter, I remember it would be times where as though I wanted to say certain things to her. And I didn't want to necessarily like I didn't want to scold her. Right. Um And one of the things that I told her, I said, listen, if you ever want to talk to me, just if you feel like you can't talk to me or whatever, to get it off your chest, you could write me a letter. And we started conveying like that, writing each other letters. Like if it was a uncomfortable topic or whatever it was, we started writing each other letters. It's so funny how you can when you become a parent, you think like everything that you have been programmed to believe, like this is just what it is. And that's what makes this whole thing keep on going, right? The traumas and the suffering and all these different things is because majority of us was told you don't speak up, you don't say anything, you keep your mouth shut. Okay. What happens here stays here. Don't leave this house and all this stuff. Okay. You got to understand that you have a voice for a reason. And you're not doing anybody any good if you feel as though you cannot speak up or stand up for yourself. I remember this one time, right? I had went to this lawyer office because the guy, he became my lawyer, right? And this was like the second time I met the lawyer, whatever, my lawyer. And I remember how he spoke to me, and I had my oldest son with me. And I just let him say, the lawyer, I just allowed him to say, like, whatever. And I felt like so angry. And I guess the lawyer, people could feel energy. And I guess he seen like what he, because it made me feel like when I was a kid, like the way he was speaking, like being scolded, so to speak of. And I was so angry, and my oldest son was there, and I felt like, oh my goodness, I have allowed somebody to talk to me any old type of way in front of my oldest son. And I felt so bad. And then the second time this had happened, I was at a car dealership. It was two ladies who had sold me this lemon. Okay. And I allowed them because a part of me was like, I'm spiritual and stuff like that. And I'm not going stoop to their level and all these different things. And my son and my sister was there, and my sister just took the wheel. She just like went off. Right. She went off on the ladies. And my oldest son was there again, right? And when we got in the car, my sister, my oldest son, was like, "Why didn't you say nothing? Like, why didn't you say?" And I was so quiet, and I felt like full of shame. Like, oh my goodness, I should have spoke up, and I should have did this, I should have did that, or whatever it was. And I was recording a conversation with the ladies and stuff like that, but that really didn't matter. See, what I needed to understand, and is if you don't speak up for you, nobody speak up for you. If you don't take up, now my sister, but it's not about that. Is about me speaking up for myself. It's about me taking a will. It's about me defending my damn self and understanding nothing is going to happen. Okay? Understanding that is my right. Okay? Once you start saying, like, no, I deserve better, okay? You're not going to just let people just talk to you and walk over you. Now, I don't believe that for every situation it calls for a reaction. That I don't believe. Okay, I don't believe in it. Okay, I don't believe in every time somebody say something you gotta react to it. Okay, you'll be a reacting junkie out here. Okay, that I don't believe in. But is a such thing called duality, and is a such thing called balance. Okay, and so if you let everybody speak to you any old type of way, that's a problem. You got to speak up for yourself, and don't think, oh, because I spoke up for myself. Sometimes we feel like, oh well, if I speak up for myself, something bad is gonna happen because we've been programmed and conditioned there. That's why. That's why we think, if I speak up for myself or if I say something, I'm not gonna have no good luck because we've been programmed and conditioned it ever since we were children. When you keep all that stuff in you, it turns into depression later. When you just allow everything, you just take everything, take it, take it, take it, take it. It's almost as if you have a plastic bag. Okay. That's right. That's right, Tracy. That's right. Without your consent, that is absolutely the truth. If you have a plastic bag and you put it up under a faucet, right? And you allow the water to just full blast, keep going in a bag, keep going in a bag. The bag will eventually pop, okay, because all of the pressure. And that's the same as that concept. When you're going through stuff, you may eventually pop because it's like you can't take it anymore. And that persona, Mr. or Mrs. Nice Person, that persona is like your spirit is so sick of you playing this role. Is so sick of you playing this role. Is sick and tired. And they want you to do something different. It doesn't matter if we trying to change the outside. That the outside will never change until we change the inside, until we change ourselves. That's the only time. And then how we feel about ourselves. No, nothing happened. No, nothing happened. I just got a download. Because I was thinking about the whole thing with consumer law. And a part of me was like, well, you know what? You ain't got to do this, okay? And I'm like, all right, I'm just not gonna do it, whatever. And then it was another. So yeah, no, it is like I want to talk to the person that's out there that just feel like they don't want to stand up for themselves or afraid to stand up for themselves because they so fixated on I want to be a nice person. Okay, I want to be a nice person, and by me being nice, right? Like in other words, you don't have to grow. You don't want to face adversity because it all boils down because of fear. Okay. Um, so this video, it was for me, okay. But when I got the download, I was like, you know what? Let me make a video about this. Okay. Um, but you gotta speak up for yourself. And you gotta take up for yourself. And you have to be your biggest cheerleader. Okay. And it's like this. I remember I was listening to Abraham Hicks, and one of the things she said was, she said that there's more people, well, more spirits, and I guess in the spirit realm, than there's people alive. Like she was saying, like is a lot of them, right? Um, and oftentimes that's what kind of scares us, right? Because it's like if I go against the grain, okay, how would that turn out? Like if I do something that I never done before, how would that turn out? And is a few things, okay? One, you already know that you're not going to get the same exact thing that you've been getting because you are stepping out. Okay? You are doing the work. You are taking action. You are doing those things. So that's one. That's like the phenomenal thing. Two, you don't know exactly how things are going to play out because this is something new. This is something different. Will a movie be as interesting if you already know what is going to transpire? Like for the first time, like if you're watching a movie, right? And the movie is like really good, right? This is the movie that is like this movie you want to rewind it back because it's so good. It's just that good of a movie, okay? It's just so really good. And if you could tell every part of the movie, okay, that like for instance, I remember when I was watching was it the Game of Thrones? Okay, I was a fan of the Game of Thrones. And you know what really what really got that in True Blood? I loved me some True Blood. But Game of Thrones, what really got me was this, okay? I was on paternity leave when I was watching Game of Thrones. And I remember watching Game of Thrones and every scene, well, every it seemed like every episode, this person was the main character. And then that person, they'd kill that person off. Then you like, oh, that's the main character. Nope, that person had died. And it was such a good series. I know this is probably not the best, but it was such a good series because you didn't know what to expect. It was just that good. It was such. I mean, let me tell you something. I will watch that from the time I woke up into the next day because it was so good. And that's the same thing with life. Like, is it fun you knowing exactly what to expect tomorrow? Like, is that fun? Or is it more fun like, oh, well, I'm going to do this. I don't know what's, and I know it can be like a little scary at times, but that's what makes life more exciting because if you're doing the same thing each and every day, you're going to keep getting the same exact thing. So imagine you speaking up for yourself. Right now, you may be shaking, right? You may be shaking. You may be doing a little stuttering right there, okay? But the moment you speak up for yourself, you feel good, cause it's like like you ever seen? I don't know who it was if it was Martin or whatever. Like when he would say something, okay, he'd say something to Gina, and like say Gina would say whatever, like be agreeing with him, and he'd get like in his ego and he'd be like, you damn right, right? Like he start feeling good. It's the same exact way. Like when you start speaking up for yourself, it's the same exact way. When you start standing up for yourself, it's the same exact way. Like that's what's going to make your life more exciting because you're doing something you never done before. Okay? So to the ones that's out there that's just like, I want my life to change, but I'm kind of afraid because I've been, this people pleaser for so long, okay? And if I start saying stuff, then maybe I ain't gonna have no good luck. Honey, I don't believe in luck. It's not a such thing as luck. It's not a such thing as luck. What it is you saying you deserve more. You saying you deserve better. That's what it is. That's what it is. So when you speaking up, you talking up, you defending yourself, okay? You doing what works for you. The universe is going to start sending people along your way that are different than the people that you normally would attract. Why? Because you becoming somebody different. Your energy and everything is different. That's why. So always do what works for you. Make sure you speak up for yourself. And is it more important? Which one is important? You being around people that you are afraid to disagree with because how they may react, or you afraid to speak up, okay? But you still have these people in your life. Or would you prefer You speaking up, taking up for yourself, and the ones that was benefiting from you being a people pleaser and you wanting to be so nice and all this other stuff, they eventually leave, right? Because now it's like they're not benefiting no more from you just being a servant, so to speak. Okay, a peasant. Okay, a peasant or a people pleaser or whatever it is. Okay, now you're some. Now you're different, right? And so now they don't like that. Would you prefer some new people come along into your life? You may have to stand alone, and that is okay. You may, you may, people may even try to make you feel like you're wrong, and that's okay. That is okay. I remember when I first heard Missy Yala Van Zandt talk about this, like, when you start standing up for yourself, like, and some of the things she said, you got to be willing to stand alone, be wrong, and it was some other stuff that she was saying. And that was when I first heard her, she was the only person that I felt like adults could be wrong. Like up until that point, I always felt like, this hierarchy, like, oh, those the adults, and they never wrong. Like, when I was younger, they never wrong and stuff like that. But when I heard Miss Yana Van Zandt, like, talk to people like mother and daughter and stuff like that, and she would say, no, you was absolutely wrong, like to the mother. And I would be like, oh my goodness. Cause sometimes when we going through stuff, we just think that, and if you grew up and there were never any consequences that you have ever seen far as the adults, when you grow up and you have children, you will start feeling like there's no wrong. Like I could never do wrong. Okay. Everything. And that's one of the things, like, I never want my children to ever feel like it's no wrong. Like I could never do no wrong. Right. And in fact, I tell my children, I'm not exempt. Okay. Like, when I if I do stuff that is I'm at a line, I'm at a line, or I'm treating you a certain type of way, it's consequences for me too. Cause I never want my children to feel like, oh well, she exempt. It's not a such thing. Not a such thing. So, with that being said, I love you guys. Keep rocking out, believing in yourselves. This is how I normally talk. Okay, I know. Miss Harden was like, is everything okay? This is normally how I speak when I'm doing videos. Okay, um, but yeah, just know that although you may be showing up alone, right? Like, you know, your spirit guides are always with you. And that's what really keeps me, like, knowing that my spirit guides are always with me, knowing that my ancestors is always with me, that, like, it does so much to me. Like it does so much for me to know that I'm not alone. You may feel like you're alone, but you're never alone. Okay? You're never alone. And so, to the person that's out there, okay, if you want different, you're gonna show up different. If you want your life to change, you have to be the change. And then your life is going to change. But trying to change the outside without you actually changing the inside, that's just as good as you putting on new clothes and ain't washing your ass. Okay? So you got to do something different for you to receive the benefits of different. And You're gonna have to go against the grain. But you a champ. You strong. You powerful. Okay? You courageous. You brave. You got so much in you. So much potential that no one could ever stop it. No one. So keep on going and keep rocking out and stand up for yourself. Stand up for what is right. And don't be this people pleaser, because the people, being a people pleaser is basically you don't know who you are, and you don't like you, so it's like you want other people to like you, like it's like, you ever been around somebody that is just like they just talk so down on themselves, and then you would say something like, no man, like, or I had this lady on my Facebook page, and no matter how much, like, I say, no, no, things are working for you, like, so optimistic, and I'm telling, and and no matter what, she would just feel like it was like she, so such a pessimist, okay, like just looking at the glass half empty, and you ever been around somebody like that? You just keep on trying to tell them, no, no, everything's working out, or sometimes they so hard on themselves, or they no matter what, and then they just agree with everybody. Mm-mm. You too powerful for that. Too powerful. And so with that being said, I love you guys. I catch you guys on the next one. Peace.